The transfer portal opened up earlier this week, and Nebraska has already been making waves by going after multiple top-tier transfers. So in today's video, I'm going to break down who these guys are, what they bring to the table, and inevitably, what does this mean for the Cornhuskers if Matt Rhule can land their talent? So real quick, before we dive into it, please hit that like button if you're excited about the Huskers adding some new faces, along with subscribing to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Wilson Dimmitt. I post a video about Nebraska football every single day. We're on the road to 3,000 subs. So if you want to support me or you just want to stay up to date with everything Husker football, please hit that sub button. It would be greatly appreciated. But with that being said, let's just dive right into it, talking about Nebraska football and what they've been doing in the transfer portal. This all started earlier this week when Matt Rhule was talking at a press conference, and he said that he actually doesn't expect anybody on the current roster that's currently with Nebraska to enter the portal. He thinks that everybody with the team will stay going into the fall. Now, with that being said, he went on to say that he's still going to be aggressive and he's going to be looking to add some talented players going into the fall to facilitate competition and to try to fill some of these holes. And it all goes back to what Matt Rhule said when he was initially hired here at Nebraska. He said that competition is going to be at the forefront at everything he does. He's trying to build two things, competition and culture. And by adding these transfers, by, again, making sure that nobody's job is safe, it's going to make Nebraska a better team going forward. So with that being said, I have three players that Nebraska has shown interest in, some really, really talented guys. Let's just start it off with the number one guy from SMU, goes by the name of Brian Massey. And looking over his stats, he plays cornerback and safety. He had 70 tackles and 8 PBUs over the last 2 years for the Mustangs and was all AAC. But not only that, not only is he a veteran corner that's a plug-and-play type of guy, but he's also very good on special teams. He's been the lead kick returner for SMU over the last couple seasons. And this is something that Matt Rhule, Nebraska, they've been looking for time and time again. They've been looking for a dynamic returnman that you can plug and play, that you can put back there, returning punts that can go off for 10, 15, 20 yards to give the team a spark. That's what we get here with Brian Massey, a guy who's been through the ringer a couple times, been very productive throughout his college career. Again, you feel good about not only on defense, but on special teams. Now, Nebraska's in the mix for his talents. Some other schools that are going after him: Washington State, Michigan State, Indiana, Washington, and again, a couple other schools scattered around. So again, definitely a guy that is being heavily recruited, not only by us, but some other Power 5 schools. But definitely shows you that Nebraska is going after guys in the secondary. And I'm making a video about my depth chart predictions on the defensive side of the football. And when I was making that video, I was flabbergasted with how poorly the secondary, specifically the cornerbacks, are looking for Nebraska. There's a lot of talent in that room. There's not a lot of experience. It's no wonder why they're going after Brian Massey. They're going after a couple other guys in that room to try to add not only talent, but experience. So watch out for Brian Massey, and not only a productive player in the secondary, but somebody who can give us a spark on special teams. So that's the number one player to watch out for. Going on to my number two player, goes by the name of Trayshawn Devons from Rice. Another player in that secondary, plays cornerback, plays safety, listed at 6 foot tall, 190. And again, another super, super productive guy that you feel great about if you were to be a Nebraska Cornhusker. Had 45 tackles and 2 picks over his last season with the Owls. And again, it's just a guy who, another veteran. Looking at his career, he's had so many injuries. He's actually been in college for 5 years, and he's had injury, time and time again. He finally was healthy last season, and he was the best defensive player on their team, entered the portal, and now is very, very sought after. Now, Nebraska is rumored to be in the mix for this guy. Again, it all goes back to the fact that obviously Evan Cooper, Tony White, and Matt Rhule, they're looking for some more talent in that secondary. But again, not only is Nebraska, they understand how talented this guy is. Notre Dame also in the mix for him as well. He's actually going on a visit to Notre Dame this weekend. So definitely another school to watch out for that's trying to get his talents. But Trayshawn Devons, again, there's a common theme between these two cornerbacks who we just went over. They're both very physical. They're both very fast, and they're veterans. They're not younger players that have high potentials but haven't produced. Both of them have produced at a high level, and both of them are older players. That is what Matt Rhule in Nebraska looking for. They're looking for veterans that can be leadership guys that can get accustomed to their culture very quickly and just can be plug-and-play dudes they have for one season. So those are two guys that Nebraska going after. Now let's get into my third and final. And man, this one is interesting to say the least. Tyler Williams, Georgia wide receiver transfer. He was only there for one season. If you're not familiar with him at all, he was a top 100 recruit in the class of 2023, listed at 6'3", 200 pounds, and here's the kicker, runs a 4.4 speed. I talk about this all the time. There's two things that Matt Rhule loves in his wide receivers. He loves guys who are tall, and he loves guys who are fast. Tyler Williams, he checks both of those boxes, and he's one of those more raw players in the portals. He's kind of a gamble. Obviously, he didn't produce for Georgia in his 1 year there, but the fact that he was even with the Bulldogs, that he got that development, can only mean good things for his future. Obviously, Georgia, they produced some very good wideouts in the last couple of years. So Tyler Williams, another guy to watch out for, but again, there's a couple other really good schools in the mix for him. Florida State, Michigan, Central Florida, and of course, Colorado, who's going after almost everybody. They're in the mix for him as well. So again, Tyler Williams, another guy to watch out for, but I expect Nebraska to make a push here. And it all goes back to the fact that I said in yesterday's video, not only is Matt Rhule going after positions of need, but again, he's trying to add talent in rooms that we already feel pretty good about. We feel good about the wide receivers. We already added 2 transfers there. We have young guys. With that being said, Matt Rhule still want to add talent. He still wants to add guys who he truly believes has NFL potential. Again, we should remind ourselves, Matt Rhule was in the NFL. He knows what it takes to be an NFL guy. He clearly sees something in Tyler Williams. So, again, another guy to watch out for. But let's just wrap it up by saying what this means for Nebraska. Obviously, these are only 3 players. It's going to be a long month. After spring ball, we're only going to be talking about the transfer portal. We're only going to be talking about recruiting because that's all Matt Rhule is going to be doing. And there's going to be a lot more face that Nebraska goes after. Again, he's being aggressive. We're going to add at least one guy. Bet on that. Take that to the house that Nebraska will add at least one transfer going into 2024 that we'll see in the next, month, maybe 2 months. So obviously, we got to get somebody in the secondary. No question about that. The secondary is not good enough. It's not old enough. You got to add a more experienced player. And then truly, a lot of people want another guy on the O-line, another guy potentially in that running back room. So that's something to watch out for. Again, there's a lot of guys who are going to enter the transfer portal. So again, it's all about trying to get talent and retaining the guys you already have. Nebraska, they feel good about some of their younger players. Make them feel happy. Try to keep them going into the fall because even though Matt Rhule believes that they're going to stay, they might not always. So watch out for that, but you feel really good about these 3 players. So let me know down below who you're excited about from the bunch. Maybe another recruit I didn't mention. Perhaps a Cormani McClain, who's the #1 corner in the transfer portal right now. Maybe let me know if you want him down below. Hey, if you made it this far in the video, make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, folks, go Big Red, go Matt Rhule, and see you in the next one.